So, welcome to my first podcast. This is basically going to be a introduction to the gluten-free table and what we can provide for everybody gluten-free and celiac. And for my very first episode, I would like to welcome Mike Moloney from GlutenBee from the US. So, Mike, welcome.
Thanks so much, Ben. Yes, from the US. I'm out in New England in Boston, Massachusetts, and it's great to be here. Ben and I were just discussing when we were catching up earlier about how much we care about talking about things like celiac disease and being gluten free and gut health and all of those other topics. And so I'm really excited to be on the show and talk about that.
Well, that's the thing. We've got so many stories to talk about, and so many comparisons to talk about, especially in you being US and me being UK. And that's mainly what today's episode is going to be about. Is probably a little moan about each other's experiences, maybe a little bit of jealousy as well. Just going over what our experiences are being gluten free. And I think, yeah. So, do you want to give a bit of background about yourself first of all?
Yeah. Let me just give a quick background. So again, my name is Mike Moloney. I'm the co-founder of GlutenBee. Originally, it was just a health blog where I was sharing a lot of stuff with one of my buddies, Adam, who also has celiac, and we were writing articles about, is this product gluten free, or what can I get that's gluten free at this restaurant? And then over the years, that led to me eventually just kind of getting into making videos on Instagram and TikTok and other social media, which is kind of where GlutenBee's at now, where it's a little bit more of a community platform, a lot of videos, food discovery, and things of that nature. Because in my journey, figuring out, that I had celiac disease and that I have to eat gluten free for the rest of my life, I think I realized how much I still cared about finding all these cool gems in food. And so it became this fun thing where it's like, oh, why not share this, make a funny video, and show people this amazing gluten free item that I just discovered on this corner of the earth. And so that's where GlutenBee's at now. It's essentially a platform for sharing and discovering gluten free food and stuff like that. And really, right now, it's just me posting videos and working with friends and stuff. But the goal is to eventually make it a little more community oriented, whether it's just on the website or whatever, and people can share recommendations and other things like that for the community. So that's kind of the background. And then again, I'm in Boston. I've been living here about 10 years, working and living in the city, and that's about it. Yeah, that's kind of the big background for me.
Brilliant, excellent. Yeah, and I think that's it, isn't it? It's understanding or seeing the differences because so obviously a lot of your content has been mainly focused around US food, US experiences, US restaurants you've been to, but have you had much experience with the UK or elsewhere around the world contacting you or commenting on any of your content?
Yeah, I do. There is a decent community around the world. Definitely, like with celiac, you see America, Canada, and then mainly like the UK, Australia, Ireland, a little bit of Europe. It's certain places, like specifically. But in terms of experience going or like doing gluten-free stuff there, I've been to London once and I got some cool gluten-free food there. I went to a really cool bakery. I gotta check through my feed. It's been a while, like what the exact name was, but there was some fun finds there. And then um around the world, like just in general, I love like discovering gluten-free stuff when traveling. And I like that you wanted to center this episode on the differences because I think it's one of my favorite parts in a weird way of like the same way that for any food you go and see the localized brands or the different things. For gluten-free, it's a whole other step, like just wondering if it's gonna even be any gluten-free things when you get to a random destination. And so I enjoy that aspect of this lifestyle.
So yeah, so going off our experiences, so when you were first diagnosed being celiac, what was the biggest thing that surprised you about it? What or shocked you or kind of like made you think, okay, wow.
I think the biggest thing, it took me the longest time to learn because when we initially last time we spoke, I think I told you, like, I didn't get, like, a clear diagnosis right away. It took me years of testing and going to different doctors to figure it out, and so, in the beginning, I just started by eating a low FODMAP diet and then a gluten-free diet, and that's when I realized there was a clear, connection, but it took me years to fully understand how severe all like, the different, or not really severe, but just all the different places that you could, get gluten from, including, like, things like lotion or toothpaste. It's not even necessarily like you're eating it specifically, and so I think that's the thing that was the craziest to me, I would say, and I don't know if you could relate to that, of, like, just how careful you need to be, and it unfortunately can be, like, mentally traumatizing, the fact that you have to be considering it 24/7 in every aspect of your life, like, because if you slip up once, then you're sick, and then you have to deal with that for however many days, or some people say weeks, that it affects them, like, that's tough, and it's also very painful, and so I think that was the hardest part for me, and it still is, because as careful as I am now, there's still times when something goes wrong or there's cross-contamination or whatever, and then I'm constantly just, like, in pain, and I'm just like, "Ah, I wish I would've done that better so I didn't get sick." Because that's how, obviously, no one wants to be sick.
Do you know what? It's weird that you're saying that. So, yeah, we're talking about comparisons between both of us. And do you know what? I feel like we've actually experienced almost exactly the same thing. So, for me, it was how much you have got to change your life, or how much I didn't know about being celiac or gluten free, how the how much I had to learn, how where to get that information from, because I did feel like for myself, yeah, I was told I was celiac, but then that was it. That was all I was told. I wasn't told where to go or what to do.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's changed a lot now, because it's a lot more out there. But for me, it was only still what, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I think. So yeah, so I think experience wise, I think we've both had almost the same sort of experience there.
Yeah, and that may be also why we had a similar experience, because mine was it was, like, 9 or 10 years ago, so the same thing where it was, like, back then, hopefully it's different now, I don't really know, I haven't, like, talked to as many doctors about it, but it was the exact same thing for me. It was literally like, "Okay, go try this diet," essentially, like, the low FODMAP slash gluten-free, like, "Just go try that and see if it works," and then that was all the resources I got, and then it's like, "Okay, what else?" Like, that included the diet itself, basically the idea of, like, just stop eating bread, but I had no idea the extent of, like, what we're talking about now, like cross-contamination and things that
Mm.
aren't even brought up, and if you're still getting sick, that was one of the other problems I dealt with, is, like, I was still getting sick for a while in the beginning, and I was wondering why, and I had no idea about soy sauce. I had no I So all these little things in the kitchen, even, like, shared, utensils, or, like, shared butter, shared peanut butter, jelly, all those things, like, I didn't know that for years, so in the beginning, it felt like I was still getting sick a lot, and I didn't know why, and my body was, like, I think, less sensitive in the beginning to where it is now, when even like, anything will cause insane pain, whereas before it was like, in the beginning, I was just grateful to be healing, I think, but then I still was questioning, like, am I even gluten free? Because I feel sick sometimes, and without knowing, like, I think some, like, stuff like soy sauce, for example, makes me the most sick because it's such a, like, concentrated form of.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I was going to say because it's for me, I found that once I'd actually managed to finally understand what gluten was in, and I managed to cleanse myself, my body felt, it didn't feel like my own body, if you know what I mean. Because brain fog, for instance, I
Yeah.
finally thought, oh, do you know what? Do you know what? That's what brain fog is. And oh my God, what the hell have I been living through for the last God so many years? And skin conditions and mouth ulcers were the worst. Sometimes I'd have like 10 or
Wow.
15 odd mouth ulcers, and I couldn't talk properly. And
Wow.
the diagnosis was just hard, because being able to go to the doctors and say, and them saying to you, right, for you to be able to get a celiac diagnosis, though, you need to eat gluten for the next 6 months. And you're like, okay, that's fair enough, but work are already really annoyed with me. If I have any more time off, I'm potentially going to lose my job.
Yeah.
And that was risky in itself, obviously. And I was so close to losing my job. I ended up getting brought up in front of HR, and it's kind of weird because I work for HR now, which is even more. But yeah, so different company, I might just add. But yeah, I think the diagnosis is a really hard thing, and um, having to go through 6 months of just eating gluten just so it can flag up on your blood tests to be able to say you're celiac is an absolute nightmare. I mean, was it the same for yourself or?
I don't think I could do that. No, like I said, when I figured it out, I was 19. I was, like, in college, and I went to the, like, university doctors, and that was just because I had no idea what it was. I just had, like, severe stomach problems, and so they did some tests. I thought it was, like, cancer or something wild, or, like, I didn't even know. I'd never even heard of at this age, like, I genuinely didn't really think, or I don't think I'd heard of celiac or any stomach. I thought,
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
maybe lactose, but it was, like, happening all the time, so it didn't make sense for that, you know what I mean? And so when I went to the doctor, like, I don't like, they did a bunch of tests because of that input, I think, thinking it was something like that, and then it wasn't for another year or 2, like, or, like, 6 to 8, 10 months later when I was back home with my parents getting tested at our, like, local doctor, that they just suggested the gluten-free diet. That was really, like, the diagnosis I got, like, there was
Blimey.
no
Yeah.
testing, and 'cause, they never asked me. That's another thing, they never asked me about celiac disease, they didn't say anything about, like, I don't know if it was just the doctors didn't know or whatever, but, like, in hindsight, I'm kinda surprised they didn't, because I have a family that is genetically predisposed to it. I think there were other people in my family who had, like, stomach issues. It wasn't diagnosed either, older generations, but it kinda surprises me, and I hope doctors are more thorough today.
Yeah, I from the conversations I've had with people, it does seem that it is improving. But I don't think it's 100%
Yeah.
at all. I think there's so much more work that needs to be done, and there needs to be a better way of being diagnosed, and a quicker way. But I know that's something they're working on as well. I think there was something in the news a couple of weeks back, wasn't there, about they found that they can actually carry out tests on a on blood cells by I don't know the full space, but by um exposing them to a certain enzyme or something, it showed that they were
Oh, so
they've
you wouldn't
improved.
need
Yeah,
you
so the person doesn't need to have gluten for 6 months,
we need that,
but
we need that.
exactly, that'd be amazing. But it's still
Yeah.
in the trial period, so it probably won't be used for about another 10 years, in which case
Oh,
that's another
wow.
10 years of
It takes time,
people
it really
suffering.
takes time, doesn't it? Wow.
So yeah, it's. I mean, we were talking on the phone, weren't we, the other day, with Mark, and Sunny, and we were talking about the time that it takes for people to get diagnosed, and I think Mark said what was a couple of weeks for him,
With
which was
You mean with Matt?
absolute.
Yeah, with Matt, yeah.
Oh, Mac, yes,
Yeah,
yeah, Mac, yeah, 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 glass of wine here. I don't know
yeah.
why I think Mark.
No, you're good. Yeah, he said it was 3 weeks, I was, like, shocked. I don't know
Yeah,
anyone, like, that's
yes.
amazing, that's good. That goes to show the doctors and the healthcare system he was near was, like, absolutely, like, pristine. Because I mean, that's that's fast. I don't know, everyone else I talked to had more of a similar story of, like, it took time or trial and error. Because, like, if you don't go into it knowing it's kinda hard to know.
Yeah, because I think Sonny said 3 years, and I think for me, it was about 3 years. So, yeah, it's absolutely not and, yeah, Matt, sorry for getting your name wrong. You can pay me back another day for that, so I owe you one for that one. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we've gone over the diagnosis, we've gone over what it was like first of all. I think the big thing that I think is on everyone's mind when it's gluten free is eating out. What's it like going out to a restaurant? I mean, how easy is it for you to go into a restaurant in the US or around where you are and say, "I'm gluten free. What do you have on your menu?" And is that a yeah? Is it easy?
I would say it depends, like, where you are and, like, the circumstances. For me, at this point, it's gotten easier. The biggest thing is using, like, different apps or things that will help, like, find places that are, like, recommended by other people with celiac. I used to be much more, um, laid back, like, early days before I knew how serious, like, all the cross-contamination was, and I would just look up gluten-free on, like, Google Maps, and then you just see anything gluten-free. But then over time, I've gotten stricter where, like, I trust the opinions of other people with celiac better. So there's still tons of options. Like, I do live in Boston, so it's a major city. I'm near New York, I go there, and these are both, like, 2 easy places, I would say. But even in the suburbs, there's options. A lot of places in America will label like, either gluten-free or just, like, certain allergens. You can always talk to, the waiter or waitress and say I always recommend saying you have, like, celiac disease or you have, some type of a disease or disorder because they just take it more seriously. Whenever you just say gluten-free, sometimes they just it's like a line item, they just check it off, and I'd rather just make it more like an allergy because then they flag that dish, and they hopefully will make it separate from anything gluten containing and stuff like that. But generally speaking, I have a decent experiences going out in the US, but I'm curious, how is it in the UK? Is it similar or would you say it's harder?
It's interesting. There are quite a few chains that are absolutely spot on. We've got a chain of restaurants called the Lounges, and they're pretty good. They always ask whether when you do say you're gluten free, they always say, "Is it an allergy? Are you celiac, or are you just gluten intolerant?" So that's nice. And then if you do say you are celiac, they actually get you to go up to the bar and order rather than ordering on the phone or getting someone to come. They're a bit more on it.
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah, so you do get some places that are really spot on about it. And then small little pubs. I went to a pub at the weekend called the Lilacs, which is just a little town just a few miles north or whatever, and they had a proper nice pork Sunday roast with Yorkshire puddings, roast potatoes, you
Sounds
name
good.
it, I had it sort of thing. And it was a gluten-free Yorkshire pudding, so I was in my element, which doesn't happen often.
Awesome.
But they were absolutely brilliant. And then they were really nice. They purposely went out their way to get the Yorkshire pudding for me, and then it came around to desserts, they said, "Oh, we've got some cakes in this display." And I had a look, and they had like a Black Forest cheesecake, and a passion fruit and orange cheesecake, which I've got to say is the most amazing cheesecake I've ever had. And
That's
I
awesome.
was so happy. I mean, it was brilliant. So yeah, they definitely made my day. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, it is a case of some places are absolutely brilliant, other places are not. I remember couple of years ago when my me and my wife went to a restaurant. She wasn't my wife at the time, but we went to a restaurant to have something to eat. And I remember sitting down, and I actually asked, "Oh, have you got any? You've got your gluten free menu?" The waiter didn't even know what I meant. I had no idea. So we kind of like just got up and left. You know what I mean? And that's a little bit worrying, considering that I honestly think that well, all chefs or everyone that serves you, if especially you're in a restaurant, should know what gluten free or any allergies at the end of the day. Because although being gluten free isn't immediately dangerous, as in it can't kill you straight away, it does have long term effects. So it's one of those things that really do
Yeah,
affect you, and especially if they don't know much about allergies. So what's worrying is if they don't know about allergies, maybe they don't know about nut allergies, and then that's even more worrying for people that do have nut allergies because that's so dangerous for them. So yeah,
yeah.
it's
No,
a bit of a worry.
I think, like, it's one of those things where I think about hopefully the education continues to improve because, like you said, it's not really like a one allergen thing. It's just more of a holistic thing of like, if you're running a restaurant, hopefully you understand the different allergens, at least like the top 8 or 12, and then you're able to just like know what is and isn't in those groups so you can help your customers. Cause it's like, I do understand at a certain point, like if it's fast food or if it's cheaper food or like they're not gonna have those same like requirements. But if it's like a nice restaurant, those are some of the places I've gotten like the most sick from where you say, celiac disease, gluten free, and then they just say, "Oh yeah, we can accommodate whatever you need," and then you still get sick, and you're like, they didn't try at all, or maybe they just like didn't think about the sauce or whatever. And I think it's tricky, but I always like am on the fence about it because it is a tricky balance of like as much as I want every restaurant to accommodate, it is, like, unrealistic to expect that too on the other end, and so, like, in terms of at least, like, every restaurant in the world, like pizza places, etcetera, but, like, if it says, gluten-free anywhere on their menu, like, you'd hope that they're advertising that safely and not the whole gluten-friendly trend that people talk about.
Oh, gluten friendly. That to me, I don't understand that whole terminology. I don't want to be friends with gluten. You know what I mean? It doesn't like me, and therefore I don't like it.
It's
So
just like
it's
it's unfortunate because you can tell it's like either somewhere along the way, like someone who's into marketing or whatever got along with that where they're like, "Oh, we can't do gluten free, but we're gonna find a way to get as much on our menu as we can."
yes, yes, oh,
It's
definitely,
like it's frustrating because there are segments too, though, people who don't have any risk of like cross contamination or they eat it by choice, and that's where those kinds of things come in. And I think that's the where a lot of that frustration comes in from people with celiac of like it sucks when you think you finally found a spot that has gluten-free, and then you find out it's, like, not actually safe to eat for you, and then it's like, what's the point of even having it?
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, then that goes into the next part of like supermarkets, shops, and buying gluten free. Is yeah. I mean, for US, I mean, sometimes I look on Amazon for gluten free stuff, and I do see some stuff on there that I think, oh, yeah, you can tell that's American, but there's no way I'm going to be able to buy it because it's like £20 more than what it should be because
Well,
I'm trying to import it from the
yeah,
US.
they tax you for it. Oh, I feel bad. We definitely are blessed with some stuff, like, the big one, which you might have seen on social media a lot lately, is, like, Trader Joe's. They had the pumpkin donuts that are gluten-free, so
Ooh, lovely.
I would say, like, in terms of, like, gluten-free specialty that's, like, also big and it's all over the US. Trader Joe's is the number one, like, you can find the craziest cool stuff there, like the donuts, they have muffins, bread, rolls, a frozen mac and cheese meal, which I really like and I eat a lot, and just all kinds of stuff. But other than that, like, every brand in the US now, like Walmart, Target, the local ones, they all have, like, a decent amount of gluten-free options, which is it's pretty nice. Plus Oreos and Chips Ahoy, the 2 big cookie brands, have an option that's gluten-free, and then now Cheez-Its supposedly soon is coming out with gluten-free, so, like, it's slowly getting to be, like, more kinda easy to find whatever you need, but there's
Yeah.
still, like, gaps in the market and stuff like that. But I feel like one of the things I remember about both the UK and when I was in Hong Kong, where they have a lot of UK stores, you guys have some pretty cool gluten-free. I was at, I think, Mark& and Spencer's, is that what it's called?
Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
they have,
Yep.
like you guys have some really good options there too, right?
So yeah, so we Marks and Spencers is absolutely brilliant for they do the most amazing gluten free fresh pasta.
Mhm.
They do this is it spinach and ricotta they do ravioli, and oh my god, it's absolutely delicious, especially when I've pan fry it and it's so crispy and it's absolutely lovely. And yeah, so yeah, you'll actually find most of the supermarkets do amazing gluten-free ranges. What I have noticed recently, though, and it's a bit of a shame, is that the chilled gluten-free range has started to reduce.
Like the frozen
Um,
meals or
yeah, both. So frozen and like cold items,
yeah,
like
yeah.
pastry or
Wow,
stuff like that. And it,
I wonder why.
yeah, I know it is a bit strange, and I'm not quite sure why. I actually reached out to Tesco's a couple of years back on it, saying, "Yeah, we've noticed that you've completely got rid of your gluten-free chilled item now." And I was told that, "Oh no, they're bringing out a whole new range of chilled gluten-free items, and they'll have a whole section." To this day, haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's like, how long do we have to wait? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly, exactly. So it's a bit of a shame. Yeah, I've noticed some supermarkets are reducing that, but then their basic range, the dry aisles or whatever, as you'd call it, like bread and stuff like that, they do seem to have more stuff in, which is nice to see. And so it's plus one, but minus the other. It's a
Yeah.
bit of a shame, but I think you, you're never gonna get everything you want. There's always going to be something to moan about. I mean, we're British, we've got to moan about something. So
I love it. No, I love it. That's funny. Yeah, I think, like, it's similar even here though, like, as much as we get new products, people are always gonna post, like, "We need this next and we need
yeah,
that."
yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, I don't blame people because at the end of the day, there's always those nostalgic items that you crave that you just can't have again the same way. Like for me, one of the big ones people post about a lot that's really popular in America is like the Pillsbury cinnamon buns, and they come in like a tube, and you like pop it open and you just throw them in the oven.
Yes.
They might have like similar stuff in the UK, I'm sure, because I think they sell products
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
it. It's like that's something that I don't know how hard it would be to make gluten-free because it really is, like, just spongy glutinous stuff,
Oh, it's
but
yeah.
that is, like, something I dream about, literally. Imagine being able to make those again. Oh, I'd be in heaven for sure.
Do you know what? Yeah, but we've got them. I can't remember the brand actually, but yeah, you twist it and you roll it out, and yeah, absolutely amazing. And they're so soft and tasty.
Yeah.
And yeah, I miss those as well. And I think the other thing I miss, but you get it in America, which is really annoying, but is Kraft macaroni
Yeah,
in a packet. You
yeah.
just add milk to it and microwave it, don't you?
Yeah, they added that. They got, like, a gluten-free one here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I miss them so much, and I know it's filthy food. I know it's bad for you, because it's probably full of E numbers and whatever. But
Hey, we
sometimes
don't
you just want something that's a little bad for you. You know?
yeah, we don't judge, and, like, one of the things I always talk about with, like, me running GlutenBee is the idea that, like, just because someone has celiac disease or has to eat gluten free doesn't mean they're just like a health freak and everything's healthy. Like
Yes.
some meal, we want the same shit as everyone else. Like sometimes I want to have chicken tenders or a pizza or things that aren't like necessarily healthy, but I agree. Like the craft stuff, I got it a few times. I kind of just didn't like it anymore, but I do like it's nice to have the option again.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what you mean because even I'm trying to think of another like even like the Oreos or Chips Ahoy gluten free, they're not healthy by any means. But some
Oh God, no,
like when
no.
I just got a pack of them and I literally ate it so quickly, like it was bad. So it's like you gotta. I'll get those every once in a blue moon, so I'm not just snacking on gluten free cookies all day.
No, 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 no. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think I remember a couple of months ago, I was eating a crunchy bar. And so someone said to me, "Oh, I thought you were gluten free. You're meant to be eating healthily." And I said, "Well, yeah, it is gluten free. Yeah, but it's not healthy." And I said, "Yeah, but I don't necessarily eat healthy all the time, and I don't want to eat healthy all the time. I want to enjoy life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?"
exactly. It's funny.
But yes, it's
It's an assumption for sure.
yes, oh, definitely, definitely, definitely. Well, yeah, then that goes into the next bit of um how people react around you being gluten free, the culture, the awareness, the how your friends are with you. I mean, for me, um, yeah, I've got mates that they're absolutely amazing. They're so supportive, but they cannot help but take the mickey for it. And I mean, especially during COVID when we were during lockdown, I remember me and my mate, we were walking through um, because we lived in a house share at the time, so we were walking through the supermarket, and I annoyed him somehow, and he picked up a baguette and he said, "If you don't shut up, I'm going to start attacking you with this." You know what I mean?
Wow,
So
you could have filmed that. That's so funny. I'm
you
dead.
know what I mean? It's like
I'm
you
dead.
got to laugh, but
Yeah.
the thing is, though, is that yeah, they might take the Mickey out of me and they might joke about it, but when it comes to it, and if I did accident, or if I did was just about to eat something that had gluten in it, they would stop me. They
They're
would,
still trying to help you. Yeah, they're still
yeah.
there for you because 'cause they're your real friends and family, and
Well, and that's the thing, and you've got to laugh about it. You
yeah,
can't be too serious about this all
definitely.
because you'll end up just being miserable. You've got to
Well,
have a joke. You've got to have
it's
a
yeah,
laugh.
like, it's too easy to become cynical about it, and I know, like, for some people, like, even for me, there's been times when I'm, like, really frustrated, and I think it's
Mm.
easy to be, like, in a bad mood, whether I'm, like, struggling to find something safe or I'm sick or whatever, but, like, I completely agree. You have to take the like, you have to laugh about it, you have to have fun with it, you have to be willing to see other people's sides and, like, their perspectives. Because it's like the one biggest thing I always think about is how, for us, because of this, sudden, news that we received and had to adapt our life to, our whole mindset changed and everything in our lives, like, we think about that. But for everyone else, they never did. They always just kept eating the same diet or any variation of that. And so it makes sense that not everyone's going to take it that seriously, like, from the start. And you have to do a little bit of advocacy for yourself. And I think that's a good thing. It helps us to be more outspoken about it. And it also gives us an opportunity to tell people, "Hey, this is what I go through. This is why I'm gluten free. I'm not just doing it for fun." And it like, it's up to you if you're gonna understand that or not. But if you don't, like, there's some people who just don't get it after all these years, and I just make sure that I'm, like, abundantly cautious around them. But generally speaking, it's the same, like you said. Most of your friends will get it. They're still gonna make jokes. So I have the same. Like, I haven't had anyone attack me with bread, but I've had literally this my friends.
But I had a couple of mates. They came over, yeah, a couple of months ago. They decided to add to my Alexa shopping list wheaty bread, extra wheaty bread, and the list just went on and on and
It's
on. I
actually
mean,
funny. That's the same thing my friends would do.
I've still got the list on there. I'll have to publish it, I think, because it's
No,
just
you
hilarious,
do.
isn't it?
That's the thing too. Like you said, there's people who will, like, freak out about a joke like that, and it's like, dude, like, chill out. That's the funny part about this. Like, if people care enough to know that you have that allergy and then to make a joke about it, I think that's actually special in a way of, like, it's something that is unique about you that your friends they understand about you, but then you can have fun with it. It makes life a little more funny.
Oh, definitely. I mean, my brother, he's always taken the mickey at me for it. But when we went around last, he was so careful on what he got me and a pizza and gluten-free pizza and making sure I could get the right food when we went on holiday together. I just went, "Oh, you love me, really, don't you?" And yeah, he gets all
Deep
funny
down,
and
yeah,
gets embarrassed, but you know what I mean? It's one
yeah.
of those things, isn't it? But yeah, it is. It's about being around people that get it, but also will just be chill about it and have a good laugh about it. You know what I mean? So, okay. So tell me one funny story about something you've experienced, and then I'll go next. I think I know what I'm going to say, but yeah,
Like, just anything gluten free related, like, just a funny story.
anything, anything at all.
Um, um, the recent one that was funniest was, like, just because I posted about it and it got some funny comments, and it was basically like, we were driving back from Michigan to Boston, which is like a 12-hour drive. It's, like, halfway across the country, basically, in America, and, it was late. It was, like, 8 or 9, and my brother and his girlfriend stopped to get, like, Taco Bell or something amazing that I was like, "I wish I could have this," and then I was looking on the, like, different apps, and I found a spot that had, like, a bunch of gluten-free stuff, and it had decent reviews, and it looked safe. So I got it, and luckily, it was 100% safe from what I could tell, but it was literally the it was basically like someone just, like, was like, "Oh, we're gonna offer gluten-free stuff," but it's literally, like, store-bought frozen nuggets and frozen this and that, and, like, the worst wrap, like, so I ordered a wrap, and I don't know if you saw the post, but it literally was in pieces when I received it. Like, I opened it and the wrap was just, like, little slivers of gluten-free wrap with all the
Oh
top.
my god. No, no, I'll have to have a look. I'll have to have a
It was
look.
disgusting, and so, like, I I was, like, mad, but it was so bad that I was just laughing. It was actually funny, and so I posted about it, and I, like, contacted the company, and I was gonna call them. Like, they called me back for feedback, but it just, like, enough time had passed, and I just kept laughing about it, and I was like, "You know what? I feel like it's gonna come across as mean if I give them feedback back because it was that bad." Like, it was something, like, I wouldn't feed to anyone, it was so bad, you know what I mean? And so, like, it
Yeah.
was it was just like that was, like, the most recent funny experience where the joke I would say was, like, it's late at night and you're like, "Damn, I just found a gem." It's, like, about to close, I'm getting some amazing gluten-free tenders and a wrap, and then in turn, you end up getting something that's barely edible, and it's like, oh, brutal.
Yeah. Lovely.
But
Oh, yeah. No, it is. Yeah, I think everyone can relate to that. Well, everyone gluten free anyway.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So
But what was
for me,
your
it's a bit of an old one.
yeah.
But I always love telling it because it makes me look like a bit of an idiot, to be honest with you. But it's you got to laugh. So it was when I lived in Milton Keynes. I don't know if you've heard of it. Um,
Is it like where is it?
a bit south of Northampton, but between Northampton and London, I suppose. Yeah, so I was walking in the shopping centre and I came across a like a little stall that were selling these cakes, and they had gluten free on them. I was like, "Oh wow, amazing!" sort of thing, and they looked so lovely, and they're all decorated, all nice, and yeah, I was looking at all the different ones, and then I said to the lady, "Oh, how long have you been here for? How long have you done these for?" She said, "Oh, for quite a while now, but we've set up a stall, and we'll be hoping to come back every month or whatever." I was like, "Oh, brilliant!" Still, nothing quite clicked. I carried on talking to her and kept on looking at ones, and then she finally goes, "Yeah, so what dog do you have then?" And I
Dog.
went and I looked around and I realised that it was cupcakes, gluten-free cupcakes for dogs.
Uh,
But of course, I had to style it out because I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was looking at. So I ended up lying, saying, "Oh yeah, I've got a cocker spaniel, and yeah, it just turned out that he's gluten free. So I mean, we're gonna." I don't think she believed me or not, but I
it's
carried
so
it
funny.
going. And by the end, I went, "Well, do you know what? I'm going to go and talk to my wife, and we'll come back in a bit, and
The
we'll probably
classic, "I'm
get
gonna
some."
ask my wife."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I went that way, and didn't come back this way, and
Oh, no, that's
yeah, so
so
that was the
funny.
most embarrassing thing. And when as I was walking away, I looked, and all around it had dog biscuits, like dog treats. How on earth I didn't see? I
That's
mean,
funny.
it's
Hey,
really
you were
worrying.
locked in, laser-like focus on the cake. I don't blame
Oh,
you.
it is, it is. It's my sweet tooth. So as soon
I
as I saw cake,
I'm the
everything
same
else just went
way.
away.
No, I'm the same way. I mean, yeah, that's actually funny because on the one hand, people joke about the gluten-free stuff for dogs, but it's actually funny, but my parents, like, the family dog we had growing up, she's gluten-free too, which is, like, ironic because
Yes.
the other member of our family that's gluten-free, but it was one of those things where, like, literally the vets were able to diagnose that for her, you know? But how funny is that, that it's a real thing and not just, like, a joke either.
Well, yeah, exactly, exactly. But yeah. So yeah, brilliant. Excellent, Mike. Lovely to talk to you. It's been absolutely amazing. It's been quite illuminating as well, actually, seeing how we both have what we've experienced. You being a US, myself being UK.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Like we were just saying, if anyone has a question, comment, or idea about what they want us to talk about next time, leave a comment or shoot one of us a DM on Instagram. My page is at GlutenBee blog, and then what's your page again?
The GF table. So yeah. So yeah, just message us, leave a comment on Instagram, or leave comments on the podcast, depending on whatever platform you're on. Just remember, hit subscribe, share as much as possible. I know it's new. Hopefully you like, but yeah, we want to give you content that you want to hear, you want to see. Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you, Mike. So it's been amazing. Thank you for joining.
Likewise. Thanks, Ben. We'll catch you next episode.